Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot, Head full of flies, so here come the clouds, They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost, Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Hi, Bullhorn Betty. Thank you for my shirt. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Kids Club.
Her family has been struggling so much to find answers, and they have been met with lies after lies after lies from a lot of people that proclaim to be this young lady's friends. So
this is Layla Santinello. She has been missing since June 27th, 2023, and she disappeared from Kingsport, Tennessee. Chronicles of Olivia and I went out to Kingsport, Tennessee on several different trips, searching for Layla Santinello or any information leading to her whereabouts. These are my thoughts on this case.
well, I have to be honest with you. I was hoping by now we would have found Layla. So this has been very hard. You know, we want to bring her home. We want to make sure that her family knows what happened to her, I think is really the most important. Her family has been struggling so much to find answers, and they have been met with lies after lies after lies from a lot of people that proclaim to be this young lady's friends. Just like to speak to them just for a moment and just say, if you know something, say something, because her life does matter. For the family members of these people that know what happened to her, it could have been your daughter. It could have been your granddaughter. You need to ask them to stand up and speak up.
So as we're watching Dr. Phil and getting an insight on Summer Wells, you know, we're paying close attention to every piece of words that are coming out of their mouth. We're paying attention to their body language. We're paying attention to every little detail. We're going back. We're fast forwarding forward. We're rewinding back. And so go ahead and shoot that. So Dawn Wells Don Wells on here says the first thing he thought of when he realized his daughter was missing is that she was abducted. That was his very first thought. My question is with that, all that greenery, all that trees, all that whole vast land, your first inclination would be that she was abducted? Not that she was lost, not that she went out and played and fell asleep somewhere, in a tree, something. Your first thought was she was abducted. And he says that multiple times, that's his first thought, is that she was abducted. My question is that would have been my first thought, first and foremost. Secondly, why would that have been his first thought? Was he threatened by somebody that he owed maybe money to, that if he didn't pony up, something would happen to his family? If he didn't owe any money, why would that be his first thought? The wife, Candace, has failed and actually got up out of the interrogation with the human lie detectors, the two gentlemen that were there, reading body language and everything else like that, which was a little suspicious because, you're here to try to find answers for your daughter. And especially if you think she was abducted, your first thing would be, selflessness. You're not worried about yourself. You throw everything on the table to save your child. And somebody asks the tough question and you break down and get up and don't want to talk about it and take your microphone off. This is not conduct of people that had nothing to do or don't know anything. Secondly, it was apparent that Don Wells may have been at work during the time. So why is the wife half, Candace, so upset about stuff? To me, just this little bit I previewed thus far, I believe she knows a hell of a lot more than she's saying she knows. I think Don now knows that she may have been involved, and that's why he's having some body language, eye blinking pattern issues. But if he was not there at the time she disappeared, I think the mom knows exactly what happened to Summer Wells.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Beautiful people of YouTube. We are here only on YouTube for this little segment. I don't know how long this is going to be, but we'll see. We'll get it going. So it's me, Jen. It's nice to see you this evening. Betty fam, Bullhorn Betty is present. And you guys were chattering. Kim 22 Unicorn, it's nice to see you this evening, this beautiful, beautiful evening. It's starting to get chilly outside. I have to say, I walked outside and checked the mail, and it was chilly. It was definitely chilly. So it's starting to change. Hopefully we'll have a cold Christmas this year. We get like a cold Christmas in Florida like once every 10 years. This might be the year. Who knows? I can't remember the last time we had a cold Christmas. I really can't. Usually we have a colder Thanksgiving than we do Christmas. MJ, it's nice to see you. Summy, Turbo, it's nice to see you.
Who is this? Obsessed with true crime. Good evening, love bug. Good evening. TLC is me. It's nice to see you as well. Crystal Lynn, hello. Our beautiful Pebbles. Nice to see you, love. Nice to see you. The real me too. The package did not come. So hopefully tomorrow evening I will be able to open it. We'll see. We'll see what's in it. But I did get a package. I did get a package. We'll go over that in just a second. But I'm not going to show you what it is just yet. But I will show you some of the stuff. Jamie K, it's nice to see you. Who else we got up in the house? A lot of people were just chattering. Angie, it's nice to see you. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Not good, Dan. I'm new here. Not good, Dan. Well, how can we make you a good Dan? That's the question. How do we make you a good one instead of a not good one? We like to inspire. We like to say good, not good. I'm okay. I promise I'm okay. I'm not losing my stuff tonight. No. I'm coming in. I love that sound. You guys are just going to have to get used to it. Tina, it's nice to see you, love. Nice to see you. Who else we got? Pin 1010. Thomas is up in the house. It's nice to see you too, Thomas. Lulu's Nana. It's nice to see who else we have. I think we finally got to the end of you crazy people just chatting up and blocking up and clogging up. That's okay. You guys can clog up my my chat anytime you guys want to. So I'm just going to kind of get right into it. First of all, I got a lovely package from our beautiful Sonia, right? And I love her. I love her little shiny cards. And she always puts little care instructions in for your shirts. And then she always gives me something just a little bit special. Look at that. Isn't that cute? Look at this. Look at that. All you need is true crime, love, and a cup of coffee. Amen. Amen. And she's got a pretty little message on the back of it. And look, I got me a little coffee cup, and I got an I love Jesus, but really Jesus loves me too. And I got another one that says, oh, it's a smiley face, a pink smiley face. And enjoy every day. How cute is that? How cute is that? So I'll put those on my keys, and you can hear me bouncing around everywhere I go. I'm going to be jingling for the holidays. I'll be walking around. We'll be singing jingle bells, right? So I'm going to enjoy that. You guys will see what came with that here in the near future. But what I love the most, what was so cute is she stuck this in there. The meaning of Christmas. The meaning of Christmas. And I, Betty the Jingler. So I thought this was cute. And you know what? I don't want paper to go to waste. I just don't want paper to go to waste. So we're going to read. We're going to read the meaning of Christmas. Let me make sure I got the strong glasses on. I don't have the strong glasses on. We need the stronger glasses on. As you can see, Bullhorn Betty's a little tired tonight. For many of us, Christmas is one of our favorite times of the year. It's nice to get a break from our normal routines and spend time with family and friends. Many of us have special Christmas customs and traditions, including decorations, meals, song, and exchanging of gifts with loved ones. All of these things are very nice, but do they convey the true meaning of Christmas? If we slow down and strip away the layers of glitter, commercialism, and tradition that surrounds the celebration of Christmas, the holiday's true meaning becomes easier to see. We can still see stars that remind us of the stars. We can still see a star that reminds us of the star which the wise men followed 2,000 years ago while seeking the child Jesus. And we remember the message of the angels to the shepherds. Unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. Luke 2:11. Christmas, is the day that we celebrate the birth of Christ, Jesus, Son of God. What was the reason Jesus left his home in heaven to come to this world? Was it simply to do good work, or to leave examples for us to follow. No, it was much more than that. Jesus Christ came into this world to save sinners. 1 Timothy 1:15. He came to deal once and for all with the problems of sin that separate every one of us from God. You might say, but I'm not a sinner. Have you ever lied? Have you ever had impure thoughts? God's standard of holiness leaves no room for imperfection. And his word is very true when it says, all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Romans 3:23. Yes, we are all sinners, and the day is coming when every one of us shall give account of himself to God. Romans 14:12. On that day, you will measure up. On that day, will you measure up? We can know for sure because God has already declared what is required. He that believeth on the Son hath everlasting life, and he that believeth not the Son shall not see life, but the wrath of God abideth on him. John 3:36. Why is it important that we put our trust in Jesus? Because God made it clear that forgiveness of sins is not based on what we do for him. It's based entirely on what he has done for us. So I thought this was really cute. And even on the back, it says, the gift of eternal life was purchased when Jesus, the sinless sacrifice, died on the cross for our sins. Romans 6:23. Now he has risen from the dead and offers forgiveness and new life to everyone who approaches him and repents heart and trusts him as Savior. So I thought that was really cute. Thank you, Sonia, for that. Thank you. I thought I wanted to read that. And that butts right into, I didn't read any of the chat, so I'll have to go back up and read, butts right into a thank you. If Elle Fig is watching, whether she's watching at home or in the chat as we speak right now, or later on the replay crew, I just want to say that my mods sent me your beautiful message. And while I'm imperfect, I am an imperfect child of God. I have a lot of work to do myself. So I did read it. I thought it was very sweet. I just want to tell you, thank you so much. I love you. And it was really precious. And I've saved it just to let you know. So Elfig out there, I have saved your beautiful message to me. We're going to get on a case. I'm just going to go back real quick. Before we get into Bryan Kohberger and the motion to dismiss the indictment, I want to just kind of backtrack because there was, I believe it was today. I'm pretty sure it was today, earlier today. Yes. We had Ruby Frank takes a plea deal in the child abuse case. So since it is something that we did briefly cover, I wanted to just give you guys a follow-up on that. And for those that are just kind of tuning in right now and you're unfamiliar with who Ruby Frank is, or Frankie, I don't know, with the E at the end, I don't know if it's Frank or Frankie, but either way, I haven't been following it that closely. I'm just going to give you guys a rundown. TD, Dean, I think you were the one asking earlier if I watched the videos. I do have some comments, and I think we're going to probably go over some, but I will watch your comments when we get to that area, just in case you do have any additional questions, when we get to that section. But Ruby Frank, in 2000, this is a YouTuber. She was a well-known YouTuber that rose to fame in 2015 as she took her audience on the journey, what it was like to basically parent and raise 6 children. So it was called 8 Passengers, and she started it with her husband, Kevin. And it was just a vlog documentary of their life as parents with 6 children. They amassed a huge following of 2.5 million followers on YouTube. YouTube has since removed the channel after her arrest. But in 2020, it started becoming apparent that her audience was starting to get very concerned about some statements that her children were making on her live broadcast. Primarily when one of her sons, I believe, said something to the effect that it's been her her mother took his bed away from him, his actual bed, as punishment for something he did, some prank he did to another child or another sibling potentially, and that he was sleeping in a sleeping bag, and he had made reference of that on one of these live broadcasts, and it was, very concerning because why is a boy sleeping in a sleeping bag for months? And so, anyways, in 2020, it's when the followers began to get suspicious of abuse and began petitioning the authorities, specifically the CPS, to investigate the Frank family. In 2022, Ruby stops 8 passengers and starts joining this Connie Zion. Is that it? Or Connections or something like that. I can't, with the X and everything, I can't figure out. Maybe it's Connections, but it was her partner, Jody Hildebrand, channel. And so they were doing stuff over there, which was really controversial, calling victims out. It sounds like they weren't really very kind over there. I don't know. I didn't watch any of this. This is just what I'm getting from a few news feeds. And in 2023, August 30th, Ruby and Jody were arrested on child abuse charges. But here's the kicker. Remember that in 2020, that I just said, the followers were getting very concerned for the children and started petitioning law enforcement as well as CPS to do something. And it didn't seem like anything was being done. And you can kind of understand that this is a well-known YouTuber. It's not uncommon for people to do stupid stuff like this, like call CPS stuff in. We know that it does happen. We've seen it firsthand now, haven't we? Not necessarily CPS, but we get the drift. Trust me. So it is possible that she had, she was able to spin a story for these law enforcement due to her following, due to these things. And that may be what she did, but that still, it's still problematic for me, because we found out that Ruby's daughter, Shari, she took to Instagram after the arrest, and she was absolutely elated that her mother was arrested, saying, finally, somebody took this stuff seriously. So in addition to the rallying of social media and the audience members, there was also a behind the scenes rallying of her family too. Oops, sorry. I just hit something and something made a noise, and I'm sorry about that. So now you have audience and family members. I don't understand why it took so long for law enforcement to get involved with this or stop it. From what I heard, the one thing that stopped this was her son escaping, having proof that he had been bound at the feet and the hands, asking somebody for food and water because he was starving and hungry. Like, I don't understand why it took this long. But Ruby's daughter took to Instagram elated about the arrest, saying that the family has been telling police and CPS, and this is her quotes, for years, not for FOUR years. No, FOR, 4 years. And they did nothing. Ruby's 3 sisters came public after that, her sisters. And they said the arrest needed to happen. Everybody in the family was calling about these kids, trying to save them. Everybody. Even the audience were catching wind of this, and nobody could get those kids or save those kids until that boy came out of that house starving and dehydrated. Sad. Ruby's neighbor saw red flags, but was still shocked at the extensive abuse allegations. And then, of course, Ruby as well as Jody, they were charged with 6 felonies, and they since both have agreed to a plea deal. So now I've given you kind of the Reader's Digest version of what we're going to be discussing, just very little bit. I wanted to give you the update because I have where Ruby takes the plea deal, and this happened just earlier today. And that's why I decided to incorporate it into the show, because it's real recent. So here you guys go.
Ms. Frankie is now here. Mr. Winward, we are scheduled for a waiver hearing. Is there going to be a waiver today?
There will, plus a plea agreement, Your Honor.
All right.
I'll ask the bailiff to hand you if it's been executed.
All right. Mr. Winward, you have discussed with Ms. Frankie a preliminary hearing, what's involved in a preliminary hearing. She understands she has a right to a preliminary hearing on all of the charges in the case. She understands what the charges are, and she's prepared to waive a preliminary hearing in the case on all charges.
She is, and that is contained in this agreement on page 7 as well.
Very good. All right, I've been handed a plea agreement, and it appears to be signed by Ms. Frankie. Ms. Frankie, did you sign this agreement?
Yes,
And you did that today? When did you sign it?
on the 18th,
Okay. You've read it carefully?
every word.
Your signature represents to the court that you've read it carefully, that you understand what you've read, and that you agree to all of the terms. Is that all accurate?
Yes,
You've had sufficient time to ask questions of your counsel, to go over any questions you have. You're ready to go forward.
Hey, ladies,
Yes.
7 up.
You don't need any more
It's
time.
nice to see you.
I'm ready.
Ms. Frankie, is anyone pressuring you to enter into this agreement?
No,
Anyone promising you anything I haven't been told about?
no,
Anything that's not in the written plea agreement?
no,
Are you under the influence of alcohol or drugs today?
no,
Is there anything today that could in any way interfere with your ability to understand the agreement, its consequences, anything?
no,
No physical condition, no medication, nothing?
no.
Any further record, counsel?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Winward, we ready to proceed?
We are ready to proceed.
All right, then. Ms. Frankie, how do you plead to count 1, aggravated child abuse, a second-degree felony?
Guilty.
To count 3, aggravated child abuse, a second-degree felony?
Guilty.
To count 5, aggravated child abuse, a second-degree felony?
Guilty.
And to count 6, aggravated child abuse, a second-degree felony?
With my deepest regret and sorrow for my family and my children, guilty.
There is a factual basis set forth in the agreement that is a stipulated factual basis, counsel.
That's correct, Your Honor. That is correct, Judge Walton.
The court finds that the factual basis is sufficient. All of the terms of the agreement are stipulated, including that the court obtain a pre-sentence investigation report, correct?
Correct.
Hey, Cookie.
There won't be any argument about whether prison is the appropriate sentence, and there's an agreement about the 4 counts running consecutive.
That is correct.
All right, the court finds then that Ms. Frankie's pleas are made knowingly and voluntarily. The court therefore accepts and enters those pleas. The court orders the preparation of a pre-sentence investigation report to be prepared by AP&P and the Department of Corrections. Counsel, what about sentencing on February 20th? I think, do you and your client agree to waive time, counsel?
We do agree to waive time, Your Honor.
February 20th, I believe, is a Tuesday. Is that right? – 10 a.m.?
That works for us, Your Honor.
All right. Anything else for today?
Your Honor, maybe, I've heard the court say this several times in a different fashion. We are not binding the court to any specific sentence, and the court retains its right to sentence as it sees fit. I just mentioned that that this is not a Rule 11 plea, but although it's a stipulated statement of defendant.
Council approach, please.
All right, so they're going to go off the record real quick, so we'll just chat it up. Yes, this is, I see some chats, comments in the box, looks are deceiving. Again, this was a woman that captivated 2.5 million followers in a short amount of time on the streets of YouTube. And what did she do with that? Instead of being, she portrayed herself as this wonderful mom.
All right, anything else for today?
Children.
No, Judge.
Nothing from the state.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. We are in recess.
Okay, so there you have it. That is Ruby Frankie. Did a plea agreement. Again, just the crimes. I'm interested. It sounds like tomorrow at 10 a.m. they will be handing down her sentence. It sounds like they've already agreed to have the sentence run concurrently. That's probably the best situation for her. I still anticipate her having extensive time. I mean, one of her children showed signs of being bound. Okay. That I can't even process. Those children are going to be forever scarred by these memories. We know how childhood trauma truly does affect children. It period. It can't. And it can't not, it just can't, it has its effect. And these children, even the 20-year-old Shari, just, she talks, everybody seems so relieved that this lady, Ruby Frankie, is in jail. Her family, her subscribers. This was horrific. I didn't know who she was or heard about her until after her arrest. And then I looked into her and we discussed her briefly, and we didn't really follow the case. It just came across my desk. But kind of segueing into something totally different, and it's kind of a little more painful. We're going to be going kind of teetering into Bryan Kohberger's case. However, before we get started, I do want a big shout out. I found out during my research that today is Steve and Christy's 28th wedding anniversary. I just can't imagine what they have gone through over the last year, how it has really, affected their marriage. I mean, losing a child has an effect, and they still have the ability to write this beautiful message. So this is from Christy. 28 years ago, Steve and I walked into the Mendocino County Courthouse. Why do these counties why can't they have simple words? Okay, when I'm on the rush, courthouse, and got married on our lunch breaks. Isn't that interesting? They eloped. Both of us told our parents afterwards. Who would have thought that 5 kids and 4 grandchildren later, we would still be together and actually still love each other? I love this man more than anything. He is everything a husband, father, and best friend should be. I love him more and more every day. I love you, Steve. Happy 28th anniversary. And that just melted my heart, even with all the pain that they're going through. It really does challenge the fabric of any relationship. And so just seeing that they still can have this fight in them, still have this massive void in their life, and still lean on one another is just amazing. Again, this is really America's family, and I hope we don't put any too much pressure on them at being America's family, because we do adore them. I have to be honest, we absolutely 100%
Adore him. Now, I'm going to put up a Fox News clip, and we're just going to be taking just a ever so slight segment, just a few seconds from this video. I thought it was interesting, and it's going to segue right into kind of our topic of discussion this evening.
Well, the DNA was found on the knife sheath. So essentially, you literally have DNA found on the murder weapon itself. But before they were able to do a cheek swab of him, they actually were led to him by investigative genetic genealogy, which is essentially looking at other family members' DNA to try to hone in on him. And apparently, they actually found him through his father's DNA. So the defense has spent a lot of time trying to get the investigative genetic genealogy, which was opposed by the prosecution. And they're still waiting because the FBI has a lot of that information. So they're still waiting for it. And clearly the defense wants to see it, to see.
So they get on to seeing the genetic genealogy, and she says one other thing. Hold on.
A violation of terms of service of one of these entities that was actually giving over the DNA. Terms of service of one of these entities that was for it. And clearly the defense wants to see it, to see maybe there was some flaw in the science. Maybe there was a violation of terms of service of one of these entities that was actually giving over the DNA. So they're going to be looking at that potentially for a suppression motion or to attack the way that investigators found Bryan Kohberger.
So in other words, his dad might have done like a 23andMe thing. Next thing you know, that's in a database.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
And that's exactly and that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. Like, that's pretty much what happened and why there's so much here. However, it sounds like the topic of discussion was the indictment. Now, granted, they did a motion to dismiss indictment based upon improper jury instructions. And like I said, it was really a weak argument. Out the gate, their whole entire argument it almost seemed like they wanted to see if the judge would buy it. You know, they had to have known that this argument was not going to work. Like, I mean, we're going to go over why. We're going to go over why in just a moment. So this brings us to there's this interview. And this interview was from like a month ago. And I almost want to go over it, but I think it's going to take us off topic because we're talking about the indictment. Maybe I'll come back to it if we have time, because we're already 37 minutes into the show and we haven't even started on the topic of conversation. So there is an interview that I do want to go over with you, and it's about a 30-minute interview with Steve and Christy. And like I said, it was from like a month ago. But again, it's going, I think at this point, we might want to wait until tomorrow to go over it on one of our segments. If anybody is here, we're starting to do 3 segments a day. So we're going to have between 1 and 2 hours in the morning, between 1 and 2 hours in the evening. And we're going to try to do a show about an hour every day around 12:30. And that's for our lunch crew. And we're going over a very specific story for our lunch time. And it's related about Kelly Siegler. And I don't know if you guys know Kelly Siegler or what cold justice is. I want to play this for you real quick because this is what we're going to be discussing. If it's something that you guys are interested in, please tune into the Bullhorn Betty channel. It's either going to be here or on the crime story side every day at noon as we go through this. So you guys are going to have to pay attention. Make sure you set your notifications to all, because you're going to have to pay attention, because I've been kind of keeping you all abreast of where we're at and what channel we're going to be on through the community post on both channels. I try to do both posts on both sides, the same exact post. So if you're a member just on that side or you're a member just on this side, you'll be able to get it either way. Have faith. It's nice to see you. Joy, it's nice to see you as well. And we're going over this story that came out, and it's called The Secrets of Stardom. And it's kind of giving us a little bit of, a different side of what people think about Kelly Siegler, this star that's on this show that we've all learned to love and just really enjoyed watching, called Cold Justice. And this is where they went into communities, typically, rural communities that didn't have a lot of technology and stuff like that, or budgets to be able to handle. We talk about budgets here all the time, and I always talk about Summer Wells because I think the biggest obstacle for the Summer Wells case is the lack of meaningful budget and manpower to properly investigate the case. That's just my opinion. We don't know what they have. It could be extensive. It might not be anything. They may just be one of those things, kind of like the Crystal Rogers case, where they're just waiting for that nugget, that small nugget of information to finally, resolve the matter. But anyways, we're going to go through this. We just went through one, and it's starting to get into a case that she prosecuted. And they're trying to say that she's using dirty tactics to get her conviction to bolster her credibility and her rating. And I'm not sure if I believe it, but you know what? It does make some valid points that I think that we all should be discussing, because we are a true crime community, and these are the things that affect trials and, prosecutions and defenses. So every day, this is going to be like a 4-part series. So it's going to happen throughout the next week. And the 5th day, we're just going to kind of have our conclusion and our opinions and, maybe some other information that may have popped up that we look into just to finish this whole thing out. So each chapter it's going to be a day. We're going to have one chapter, which we had the first chapter today. Tomorrow will be the second chapter. So if you guys would like to participate in that, again, 12:30 all week this week. And I think that's it. And now we're going to get into the actual show. Oh, and stay tuned for all the people that would like to see. Stay tuned to the end of the show. I just got a very minor receipt to show, just to put something to bed, so I can just get on with everything.
Hey guys, as you guys can see, we're back in front of the Idaho 41122 King Road here in Moscow, Idaho. We are covering the case of Maddie Mogen, Zaina Kernodle, Haley Gonzalez, and Ethan Chapin.
4 University of Idaho students were slain in their sleep on November 13th, 2022, in the early morning hours at their off-campus housing on the outskirts of the University of Idaho. Bryan Kohberger was named the suspect in the crime on December 30th, and we had an opportunity to be outside the home when the cleaning crew showed up. This is the same day that the memorial for Maddie Mogen and Kaylee Gonzalez was going on in Coeur d'Alene. We are grieving right along with the family as they go through this process of realizing the home where they were brutally murdered is going to be demolished on December 28th.
This house is still an active crime scene behind me. You see the yellow tape. You see the law enforcement officer still keeping this crime scene secure.
So there you have it. So that kind of just segues into what we're going to be discussing. Obviously, the house is going to be demolished. There's a lot of people that are very upset with this. Let's see, who do we have? I hear a birthday. I hear there's a birthday in the house. So happy birthday, Winston. Excuse me. Happy birthday, Winston. It's nice to have you. Happy birthday. I don't know. Bullhorn Betty says happy birthday to Winston. So I'm not sure how, obviously people are pretty upset about the whole idea of demolishing 1122 King Road. There is petitions being thrown about. Several different creators have prepared petitions and are sending them out for people to sign. If you want to participate in that, they've got 1,500 of 2,500 signatures to stop the demolition of this house. I'm throwing the change.org. I went in on to shoot. I wish that they made it smaller. I wish they made it smaller, but they're not making it smaller. Let's see if I can share this. Well, there you go. There's the QR code right there if you guys want to put your camera up to it. But if you want to sign the petition, sign the petition. This is my thoughts on it, honestly. I hope that Steve and the families do fight it. I think that they really should stay up until after the trial. I think I'm with everybody on this, but at this point, I'm thinking short of the court forcing, hey, Miss Mom, or Miss Lee, Mom of 3, it's nice to see you, Jules. Nice to see you, MJ. At this point, this is just my personal opinion. This is the second time the university has made this push. This one, they kept really close to the vest until it was already settled and decided, so much so that we really don't have a whole lot of time. We literally have 10 days, and when we found out about it, what was it? It was like literally 2 weeks to do anything about it, to pull resources together and start fighting it if we so chose. That's just not a lot of time to have any kind of meaningful resolve to the issue. So I feel like the university's mind is made up. Kathy B., it's nice to see you. And that's where it's like, I kind of, you heard Steve's latest interview, and his latest interview basically said, we want this up. Actually, I've got some notes here from that interview as well. And this is another thing. It seems to me that Ethan's family is not in line possibly with the rest of the families. And it very well could be because they have the two twins. They were triplets, but now there's only 2 of them. So the twins, it may very well have to do with them, because they're still attending that school. So I don't know if that's the case, but Steve talked about having this evidence, that he's seen some leaked footage. He implies that he has leaked footage. He's not sure if everybody. I would think that if he's got the footage, that law enforcement would also have the footage. But in this footage, apparently he sees Bryan's car. Kathy Kelly, it's nice to see you. It seems like Bryan must have sat in his car in a very specific location that night. And we did hear a little bit that he went up and, left for a little while. What was it, around 2? I have to pull up the probable cause affidavit, but there was a point in time when he got to the house and then left. And that was before they all came home. And so I apparently there must have been some place, because he referenced it being that night that he was talking about. And he was trying to explain why the house needed to stay up. And some of the, I know I had to have wrote it here. Give me just a second. I know I did. Okay, so it was, they were active on social media. He says this is a losing battle. The leaked footage they may not have seen. And one of the questions asked to him was, do you feel that maybe it's possible that the prosecution feels so confident about the case that they no longer need the house? And you wonder that, because when we read the probable cause affidavit, like I said, if they can prove even 75 or 85% of that probable cause affidavit, Bryan Kohberger's cooked. He's done. If they can prove that, they've got beyond a reasonable doubt. In all fairness, they've been challenging the DNA. It doesn't look like the DNA is going to be thrown out.
With what they've got right now and the arguments they have, I don't believe that they're going to be, it's going to be thrown out. Obviously, the petition is going around. So it was discussed, the position as the reasons for the house being erected, according to the last interview that I've got of Steve Gonzalez, as he was talking about the positioning of the car and why he was sitting, at the one spot for the extended period of time, and what was he actually looking at. He brought that and made that a point. And then, another thing that was brought up is the odd layout of the home. It also is apparent that it is the university, according to this latest interview. It sounds to me like, according to Steve, it is the university that is making the push for the demolition, which is what I had assumed was going on, is that it really was the university making the push for the demolition. Because in all fairness, I did research, I was looking at their local newspapers, their local news, and I have not seen any, this huge mass of people screaming bloody murder, that house is still up. We're seeing nothing. Like, even social media, there's nobody really complaining about the house. So it makes me, hey, Northern Light, it's nice to see you. So it just always makes me wonder, and I think I even alleged that in our conversations just a couple days ago, that I really truly believe that it's the university, and it's a financial thing for them, as opposed to doing the right thing for the community and the students. When I first heard about it, we were just about to go live. So I was, I kind of said, I understand, and it hurts me that they're taking it down, that I personally think it's wrong, but I believe the university's mind is made up. And then, I started doing some research and just trying to figure out where all this is coming from and why right after Christmas. Like, I'm scratching my head. I can't figure out, why does this have to happen so quickly? Why now? Why? The university's response is that nobody's there. Their traffic is low during the Christmas holiday. Well, there's other holidays coming up between now and his trial that they can, tear that house down. So I was trying to figure out where the push was coming from. And then I wanted to see what the other professionals had to say. And so when I started hearing that the other professionals were kind of in the same boat as me, where we're all like, this is really not a good idea. But what are we going to do? It seems like the university's mind is already made up. So what do? We go to social media and we complain and say, look, pray to God that somebody from the university or somebody that has, decision power sees our little channels and says, hey, maybe this is not the right time for it. Maybe we need to do the right thing for Kaylee, Maddie, Ethan, and Xana. But no, it's a monetary issue. And I knew it was, because they've got a security guard outside of that house posted there from the last time I was there. 24/7. Every time we see photos of it, we see, that security stand there. So I don't know if the security is still there or not, but it sounds to me like this is a financially motivated tear down. They're tired of taking care of it. I really think that's what it is. They're financially tired of taking care of it. They're getting the bills in for what they spent on it, and they probably could have tore it down and built another building by now on that spot, with the money that they've spent on the security alone, because that stuff's not cheap. But I digress. So I went through all of this stuff with Bryan Kohberger, and I got to be honest with you. I usually read these things to you, like this order denying the motion to dismiss the indictment. I am not going to torture you. I was reading this thing, and I'm telling you, it was hard for me to keep my concentration. It was difficult. And I'm like, if I read this, my audience, their eyes are going to glass over. They're not going to hear a damn thing I'm saying. They're going to hear a blah, 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 blah. So I decided to read this entire document. It's 13 pages. And I pulled out what I thought was important in it. So that is really what I'm going to break this down. And it's a really simple,
Okay. So let me see if I can try to explain this in the easiest possible way. So we know that there's two processes to get an indictment. Okay. You have a grand jury process. To me, I call it the path of least resistance, right? I like the grand jury process and stuff like this. It's not as sticky. You don't have a whole lot of issues. You go there, you present your case. They say whether you have probable cause to indict the person. And if they need to ask questions, if they need to have witnesses, if they need to subpoena people, they do that all at the grand jury to see if there's really truly probable cause for the charges. And if there are true probable cause for the charges, then they indict the person. What makes the grand jury so nice, so to speak, for, say, prosecutors is that the defense is not invited. Okay, the defense is not invited. They have no idea what's discussed. They have no earthly idea what was said, what the witnesses said. All they know is that the grand jury was impaneled, took testimony, and came back with an indictment. That's what they know. So, and then there's another process called the preliminary hearing. And while legal professionals like me cringe at the idea of calling it a mini trial, okay, because it's not a mini trial, okay, it's the best way to describe it to a lay person. And I know that people are, especially people in the law, are probably like, Betty, that's the worst way. You're not teaching them. You're telling them exactly what we tell you not to tell them. And I get it. But, people just don't understand what the process is. So the reason what makes it the appearance of a mini trial is because the state is there as well as the defense. And so they can almost cross-examine, or I guess not cross-examine, but present other evidence for the jury to look at and review. They can argue or provide, guess what the word is, provide evidence to the contrary of what the state is producing and showing the grand jury as evidence. Either way, the standard of both of those is the same. It's not beyond a reasonable doubt. It is probable cause. Do they have probable cause? It is not beyond a reasonable doubt. So that is the reason why this was denied, because basically what Ann C. Taylor was trying to say is that they had been provided the wrong jury instructions. And because of these jury instructions, they didn't meet their burden. And she almost implied in her briefings that the burden really should have been beyond a reasonable doubt at the grand jury level. And it is, I can tell you, just it is well ingrained in the law that the grand jury is only probable cause, not beyond a reasonable doubt. So it was denied for that. And also, so it said probable cause versus beyond a reasonable doubt. Grand jury isn't the trial jury. And so that's what he put in that. So the conclusion was grand jury found probable cause. And therefore, since probable cause was found, that indictment stands. So that was denied. There is a couple documents that I did want to read to you guys. And the first one, I just moved that off here. Is that the right one? Yeah. And this is order taking judicial notice, because they did take judicial notice of information related to the defendant's motion for the indictment. And I just wanted to read it to you. Not that it's really significant, but it was short enough that I thought we could read it without your eyes glossing over. In order for the court to assess the arguments in the defendant's motion to dismiss indictment on grounds of error in the grand jury instruction, or in the alternative, remand for the preliminary hearing and motion to dismiss indictments on ground of biased grand jury, inadmissible evidence, lack of sufficient evidence, and prosecutorial misconduct in withholding exculpatory evidence. The court needed to have access to the grand jury procedures and evidence. To accommodate the need, the state submitted a motion to take judicial notice of the grand jury's record. Without objecting, the court, as requested by the state, takes judicial notice under 201, blah, 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 blah. So that's, again, very predominantly just, it's not really anything that you need to be concerned with. But again, it's one of the documents that were put into the record, and we were going over the record. Now, this next document that I'm going to be reading to you, this is basically the way I kind of, construe this, is that this is basically the court's statement to the public. So it's the public order denying the motion to dismiss. And it says, on August 23, 2023, Kohberger filed a motion to dismiss indictment on grounds of biased grand jury, admissible evidence, lack of sufficient evidence, and prosecutorial misconduct and withholding exculpatory evidence. On September 14, 2023, the state filed an objection to the defendant's second motion to dismiss an indictment. On September 20th, 2023, Kohberger filed a reply to the state's objection. A hearing on the motion was held on October 26, 2023. Kohberger was represented by Ann Taylor, Jay Logsdon, and Elisa Massuth. Massuth, I think that's right. I pronounced it right. The state was represented by William Thompson, Ashley Jennings, Jeff Nye, and Ingrid Beatty. This hearing was closed to the public and media cameras to protect the secrecy of the grand jury proceedings. The decision will also be sealed. However, the results of that decision are addressed in this public order for the public's benefit. Kohberger has failed to successfully challenge the indictment on the grounds of juror bias, lack of sufficient admissible evidence, or prosecutorial misconduct. Kohberger was indicted by an impartial grand jury who had sufficient admissible evidence to find probable cause to believe Kohberger committed the crimes alleged by the state. Further, that the state did not engage in any prosecutorial misconduct in presenting their case to the jury. And it was signed by John C. Judge, the district judge, on December 15th, 2023. So he cleared up a lot of things, including the implication and the allegation that the prosecutor conducted himself improperly. I think the judge was fair on that and right. I mean, her argument was weak. We read it here online months ago. And one of the first things I said is this is one of the flimsiest arguments I've ever seen. And it was, but she's got to represent her client to the best of her ability. And if she has one scintilla of something to latch onto and she chooses not to, then she's disservicing her client. And that's the way we need to look at it. If she didn't do this, we would think that she was not being a good attorney for her client. And that's her job, is not to worry about the public. It's not to worry about the prosecution. It's not to worry about anything else but protecting her client. And her client is Bryan C. Kohberger. It's not the state of Idaho. It's not Bullhorn Betty. It's not guidance. It's not any of you. It truly is her client, Bryan C. Kohberger. And like I said, with her being the pit bull that she is, it limits the amount of appeals this man is going to get. So we definitely, like Ann C. Kohberger, challenging everything. We want her to challenge everything. We want her to get her client's day in court, and we want her to have a fair trial with an impartial jury. And we want them to have all the information to either find him not guilty or ultimately find him guilty. I truly do believe that they have Bryan Kohberger dead to rights. I think Bryan Kohberger is the one that committed this crime. But again, I'm not a jury member, and it's got to be presented to a jury. So I could say he's innocent all day long. And you know what? He can go and be heard before a jury, and they can find him not guilty. They sure can. They sure can. Okay. There's people who donated 24. Okay. And then we're getting down to another thing. I don't like doing receipts. And whenever I'm pushed on receipts, I almost retreat because I don't like people telling me what I have to do and what I don't have to do. We handle our business properly. We are not trash. I've worked for attorneys. I've worked for, attorneys that ended up being federal judges. I've never worked for garbage. I've never acted in garbage. And for people to think that I would do something like steal from an 8-year-old kid is absolutely disgusting to think. But you know what? It goes to show you what type of people that they hang out with, because in my opinion, people like, I would never think anybody would do that. I mean, I'm seeing the people that do, and it seems I digress. But it's very frustrating for me. And I don't want to feel that anybody is ever entitled to something. And that's what I hate about these people, is they feel that they haven't contributed, but they're entitled. But see, the worst part about it is it's not that they feel entitled to the information. It's the distraction away from the fact that they're doing absolutely nothing. That's what really annoys me, is that they're using these tactics of pointing the finger at me to take the fingers from being pointed at them for doing absolutely nothing, being on these streets, collecting money, running their ads, doing exactly what they've said we've done for years and years and years, and not giving back to the community, because we do. You know, they've tried to lie and say we haven't, when the proof is in the pudding. We give back more than just about any other creator on the streets of YouTube in this situation. There is no other channel that prepares shirts, banners, flyers, and other things for victims of crimes like the Bullhorn Betty channel. And if there is, show me your receipts, because we've got plenty of receipts. We've got 3 damn years of receipts of the work that we've done. And so it was, I was going to prepare the video, which takes time to do. You know, it's not something, I'm not a digital person. I didn't go to school for digital creations or anything like that. I'm not a techie person. It takes me time. I'm not a Chronicles of Olivia. I'm not half of these people out here that even know how to use Streamlabs. Like I'm so low on the technology totem pole. I run through StreamYard all the time. Right. So, the idea that I would hurt somebody else at Christmas time is just disgusting. But you know what? These are the people that do actually hurt people at Christmas time. So why would I expect anything different? Long story short, I just wanted to show this. I'm never going to kowtow or, bow down to them ever. This is not for them. This is for the people that know what we did, know we did it well. And again, this is from the pastor at the church. And what it says here is, it says, "We are so grateful for you all. Grayson and his mom are going to be so blessed." And that was literally while I was in the church. It was after I had already dropped off all the gifts, not just the gifts for Grayson. You got to remember that I pulled resources here in Manatee County and was able to get several things for other people, even stuff that they could use there at the church, such as crayons. What else did I get? We've got coloring books, just little things, some toys. There were, oh, good God, there was just a lot that the girls here in Manatee County did. And so we were able to give all of that over there. And we had the big, massive gifts for Grayson. And we had several bags for other people that were in need. And in addition, I had a manila envelope. The girls wrote up this beautiful little, it was on good stock paper with the well, I guess it's this stuff here, like the glitter stuff. And it was like paper like this. It was the thick stock paper, but it was glittery. I don't know if you guys can see the glitter on the screen or not. There you go. I think you can see it like that. And it just had a Christmas scene on it, and then it had some writing on it. And I wish I would have taken a picture. The girls know what it said because they sent it to me. And so we put that in a manila envelope, like a catalog envelope with the gift cards. So I just wanted to show you guys that it was turned in. It was acknowledged by the church. I have videos of being there. I have videos, and I'm putting it all together of inside the church and everything, but it was just me. I didn't have a camera crew. I didn't have Olivia. So it was just me and Pastor Marcelo that had to get all that stuff out of the car and walk it in. And if you know anything about it, you got to go through three doors of security things. So the whole videotaping of me walking the stuff in is not going to be, because we were getting ready for church and we needed to get the stuff in his office. So we've got as much video as we can and acknowledgement from the church that they have received our gift. And for these people to actually think that I would steal from an 8-year-old boy is just disgusting. And I'm just so sick of this pettiness on here. And at the end of the day, I just want to ask those people that ran those lies about me and this channel and what we were doing for Grayson. I want to ask them, where's your receipts for what you did for anybody this Christmas holiday? Because with all those nasty things, you should be making about yourself, because you're the ones that failed this year, not me, you. And I can't wait to see the apologies come to my email for all the disgusting things you guys said and how you tried to destroy an 8-year-old boy's Christmas. And I find that just heartbreaking. And I'm glad that people are starting to wake up and see things. But congratulations to all the people that fought through it and made sure that this little boy had a wonderful Christmas, because without each and every one of you, it wouldn't have been possible. Lord knows if we would have left it to those hate channels, no kid would get Christmas, right? Hell, even the other channels, what do? They raise money for their friends, never once giving back to the underserved. All these channels making $40,000 more dollars. Not one penny, not one penny, not one penny, not one sponsored child. But they sponsored their friends, handed their friends hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Wow. Wow. Just saying. But we got this little boy and $125 to his mother for gift cards. We got 5 gift cards, 5 $25 gift cards, and I just think that really would help her. And I'm very, very appreciative of everybody. She had court. Yes, she had court on December 8th. The Real Me Too went, and they wouldn't allow anybody into the courtrooms. They wouldn't allow media in, and they wouldn't allow public in. So we don't know what was discussed in there. Nobody knows what was discussed, but they did have a hearing on December 8th. But other than the hearing that we heard about on December 8th, nothing else. We haven't received any other information. The Real Me Too, I think that's about all we have on the Quentin Simon case right now. Since we've left there, nobody out there follows the case, such as the local media and stuff. They don't do anything. I don't understand why, but they don't. Wake up. It's nice to see you. What does it say? Coming in, Kohberger denied what, please? Oh, the indictment. The motion to dismiss the indictment was denied. It was denied a couple days ago. But we are going over all the documents and going over some new information, and that was pretty much it. But and we just went over why it was denied. But we went over, before that, we went over the Ruby Frankie case, and that was the YouTuber that was arrested for abusing her kids. Just a few hours ago, she changed her plea from not guilty to guilty. She'll be going back tomorrow at 10 a.m. for sentencing on those, if you know anything about the Ruby Frankie case. But if you don't, you can rewind back to the beginning, because I give us the Reader's Digest version of Ruby Frankie, and then we'll see what kind of sentencing she gets tomorrow evening. Don't forget, noon every day this week, we're going to be going over Kelly Siegler and her
her history, and this article, or this I don't even know what this is. I don't know if it's an article. It seems like a 4-part like mini book. I don't know, like a mini novel. I don't know. This is a lot of friggin' reading. I got to tell you that. But I read it all today, and so I decided that I think the best way to do it, because it's so extensive, is to break it up into the chapters. You know, because today we did chapter 1, which was the secrets of stardom, and then the next one is House of Bodies. You know, the House of Bodies, and then we go to chapter 3, which is the real trial tiger. So it kind of gives us an idea. And then Texas versus Preble. And that's really a contentious case there. And I've read through that. And I'm actually doing some studying on who Ron Preble is, because I didn't study the case back then. But I know if it was showcased at all, which I don't think it was showcased on Kelly's on Cold Justice, because Cold Justice was going after the cold cases, and this guy was already convicted by the time she was on Cold Justice. But they're saying his conviction was done by underhanded prosecutorial misconduct. We've been hearing a lot about prosecutorial misconduct coming from defense attorneys here lately. So this is just another one of those things where all the defense attorneys are saying, "Oh, she got stardom, so let's go back. She had to have done something wrong in these cases. Let's go back and find out what it is. I demand all her files to be reviewed. They need to be reviewed because we got somebody. We know she did something wrong." It's like the lynchmen, they're coming after her because she's, she, after her career, decided to go and became more famous. But she was a go-getter. I mean, I'm reading about her life, her history, where she came from. She's a woman that came from nothing and made something. She had a great family. It sounds like her mom and dad loved her very much. And she just wanted to thrive, and she wanted to do better. And she just kept going and kept going and kept going. And she's an amazing woman, and she has been famed for that, right? For her great thinking out of the box. You got to think out of the box in a lot of stuff like this. And she's a prosecutor. So when she thinks somebody's guilty, that's what she does. She goes and takes them to court and tries to prove it to a jury. And if she can get a jury to side with her, guess what? They're going to jail. And that's what she's been doing. And what they're saying, that now that she's left, they're saying that a lot of her cases are coming under heavy scrutiny, and because they feel like she was abusing the informant, the jailhouse informant system. And so we're going to be talking about it and breaking it down and when I was first reading it, I got to tell you, because I like her, I love Cold Justice. It's like, you don't be messing with my girl, right? And so I'm reading this article, and as I'm reading it, I can feel myself like getting almost angry as I'm reading it. Like, how dare them write this about Kelly, So I had to remove my emotion when I was reading this article. I had to literally stop reading it and say, Andra, you've got to remove your emotion. You need to really listen to what they're saying. Does this hold water or does it not? And so once I remove the emotion out of it and remove that I don't like her, or I don't, I haven't watched her for years, and just look at the text, there's some valid arguments in this article. There are some absolute valid arguments. And I'm like, sitting there thinking, we need to look at this. And this could be absolutely a problem. Now, I'm not saying she did anything wrong. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying here. I'm just saying that there are some valid points in this article that can be made. And that is why we have decided to on our lunch break this week, we are going to be discussing a chapter out of this little mini series, mini novel, mini whatever it is, this freaking 17, 18 page document in little 12-point print. I mean, it's a lot of reading. Okay. It's a lot of reading. And I think you guys will get something out of it. And I'd like to have an open dialogue about it, because there's no way we're going to all agree on this. We're going to have it's going to force us to have healthy debate, right? It's going to force us to be at odds with each other and still have to talk about an issue. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to
have healthy debate on this article about the secrets of stardom. I dropped the link in here before. Let me go ahead and pull this up, and let me drop it again so you guys can. And it's from The Intercept. And you can tell The Intercept is not a fan of hers. You can absolutely tell they're not a fan of hers. They have almost a biasness to them. Like it was biased enough in some of their statements that I almost didn't like the writers of. Not that it wasn't written well, not that the information isn't something that makes you want to, look into it and say, it was just the simple fact that they're messing with my girl. I mean, I love Kelly and I loved Yolanda before she got off there. And Johnny Bonds, I mean, like you almost feel like you know these people because of watching them for so long on TV. And she's got another show that's coming out, and it's called, give me just a second, I'll find it. I know it's on this first page somewhere. I remember finding it. Where is it? It's something with Kelly Siegler. Cold Justice. Maybe it's on the second page. I can't remember. I said it. Prosecuting Evil. That's it. Prosecuting Evil with Kelly Siegler. That's the new one that's going to be coming out. And she was at the Crime Con in Orlando this year. I'm actually considering Crime Con next year. Next year it's going to be in Nashville. The VIP is like $16.99, and that doesn't include flight or airfare. So I actually want to go. And you guys know I never, ever, ever. I know this is probably going to everybody think, like, oh my God, we're going to have to take Betty down. Grifting. I actually want to go. I actually want to go to Nashville. That we have so many months. We've got like 7 months to prepare for it. That I actually think I want to do a GoFundMe. I want to do GoFundMe so we can raise the money in there. And I don't know how it works if we can't get the full budget in there. If it will, if I can refund it back, because obviously I'm not going to take the money if I'm not going to use it for what I'm going to be going for. But I actually would like to go to Crime Con. I think it'll be a great opportunity to meet people. Meet experts. I think it'll be a great opportunity to network with people. And I think it'll help pave the path for this channel moving forward and making some of those really meaningful connections that I need to make. So I'm actually entertaining it. If it's not something that I'm wanting to put forth the money this year, I think we're going to definitely do it, do the whole VIP, the whole kit and caboodle in 2025. Because I really do want to go to Crime Con. I hear that this is a fabulous place to learn some things. Like, think about it. If I can make a connection with somebody that knows about DNA, and we get a case, and I have something where I need to have a question answered, I can't find the answer I'm looking for, or I'm getting conflicting answers online. I have a professional I can call that remembers me, that knows me by my face, that I can say, hey, what say you? This doesn't make sense to me. Can you explain it? Think of how valuable that will be. That'll be valuable for this channel for years to come. So I really am considering it. I'm praying on it now to see if it's something I want to do, because I always said I'm going to stay away from GoFundMe's, and there's like 1,000 things that we could really be raising money for other than Crime Con. But I have to look at, we need to have resources. We need to have legit resources that we trust. And this would be a great opportunity to at least shake some of their hands and get our name out there in front of some of these people. So again, I'll be teetering on that. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet. I've got to still, budget it all out. I never stay at the hotel hosting these things. I've never liked that for safety reasons. Not only that, but even with the special pricing, it's still an arm and a leg, and I'm a cheap bitch. So, excuse my language. It's what my BFF calls me, right? If she can call me that, I can call myself that. So we'll see. But like I said, I'm still praying on it. It may not be something that we will be able to do this year. It really kind of depends. But if we can't do it this year, we're going to probably do something like that for 2025. Just FYI. Just FYI. I remember Olivia, Olivia's a little more bougie than Bullhorn Betty. I can tell you that. And, I've had her raise her eyebrows when I've had to plan trips before, but there was one that was really bad. And I mean, really, really bad. We looked at each other and we're like, what did we do? We were both crying. We're like, oh my God, this is awful. We were. And like, what do we do? I'm like, just pack this shit up and let's go. I don't even give a shit at this point. Just pack it up. We're going someplace else. Like, you just get to the point where you just had it. It's like, this is just a nightmare. Like, I'm not paying for this. No, I'm not putting my head on this. No, I wouldn't even let the stray cat in this room. Okay. It was that flippin' disgusting. And I remember I had said, I went pee and something happened. I think it was Olivia squealed. I don't know what it was. So I pop off the toilet, I'm done, I clean myself, whatever. It's not like that. I forgot to flush the toilet. Like, she's screaming, I'm trying to get. So I go in there and she's like, oh my God, there's a fucking pube on the I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a pube on the bed. She's like, I'm not laying here. This is so disgusting. She squeals. She's like, oh my God. And you think it's dying. So anyways, I finally had just had it. Like, the pube, that was it. We're done after that. Like, it was just disgusting. It was filthy. We are not staying here. We're not staying. Like, her and I even discussed getting like a plastic liner for the bed, getting some sheets. And I'm like, this is insane for us to be sitting here contemplating on what we need to buy to be comfortable in this room. Absolutely not. So anyways, I go up there and I'm like, this room's disgusting. So they take us over to another room. They're like, okay, well, maybe it was just a bad room. Let's go over here. Olivia, the first thing she does is pull the comforter down. There is a big yellow stain on this sheet. And at that point, we're just like, no. I don't care if you refund us the money. I will sue you if you don't at this point. This is unacceptable. So anyways, the lady wants to go around and she wants to say, well, why don't you just show me what's wrong with the room? You want to know what's wrong with the room? Sure, come on in, babe. Let me tell you what's wrong with the room. You see this? You see that black shit on my finger? Nobody wants to put their head on a bed when something like this is on the stand next to their head. I said, you feel that grit? Maybe you should take your shoes off a little bit. No, don't even take your shoes off. Why don't you just take your shoes and rub them on the ground? You feel that gritty shit under your shoes? That's dirt. I don't know what person wants to pay for a room that comes with dust and dirt. Never mind the fact that you got pubes on the clean sheets. And she walks in the bathroom and she's like, you didn't even flush the toilet. How rude. And I'm like, how rude of me not to flush the toilet when my friend is screaming to high heaven? But it's not rude for you to put me in a room that I'm paying for that has freaking dust and dirt? Whew. Refund me my money, lady. I'm leaving. The Adventures, Sweetie Pie, and Sourpuss. Mm-mm. And that was in Idaho. That was in Idaho. And I think that was, good Lord, I don't even know what that, I can't even remember. And I don't want to say the wrong name, because there was two places that had similar names, and one had great reviews and one didn't. And I think I got flustered. One was a little bit more, not much more, to be honest with you. It really wasn't that much more. So I just grabbed the wrong hotel. Whenever Olivia and I discussed it, and we're like, oh, well, this one has great reviews. It's just an older hotel. She's like, it's fine. As long as it's clean, that's fine. So I go in there and I book it. I didn't realize one's like view and one's something else. I can't remember, but they had literally similar front portion of the names, different back end of the names. And I just confused them. Well, I gave us a really crappy, and I had to argue with these people, literally argue with them. And I'm just like, these people look like they were back there just getting stoned out of their mind, that they could give two craps about their job. And she's looking at me like I'm the freaking problem. I don't think she's got a clue yet that it was her that was the problem. I really don't. Delusional. All right, so you guys got the intercept. Did I drop that into the chat? Here it is again. So guys, go read this article. We're going to be going over it this week, and the reason why I'm giving you the article to read ahead of time is because I know you're going to have some questions, or you're going to want to have some statements. Because again, I don't think we're all going to agree on this. I really don't. I think this is a great article for us to have a healthy debate on some key issues, especially with the use of informants, jailhouse informants. I really want to get the consensus of this group on jailhouse informants, because it could be a problem. And they have a decent, or whether I like what they're saying about my girl or not, they have some decent arguments in here, in all fairness. So lastly, for those that are here this evening, if you guys haven't, I was on Sweet Misery's channel. We went over the Major John Kaler case at Idaho. It was a case that came in shortly, not too long after Bryan Kohberger, but it was another quadruple homicide that happened in Idaho, but it was kind of overshadowed by the Bryan Kohberger case. And so this case it's a sad case, but it has some twists and turns in the case, as far as some different arguments. This man thinks he was saving his children, but, was he saving his children, or did he lose his cool? Those are the arguments that we need to discuss on that. But either way, we had a great and powerful conversation on Sweet Misery's channel. So if you guys have an opportunity, go over there and learn something. We went over the case. We had some, perspective conversations about the case, along with some personal conversations. So hopefully you guys learn a little bit about me. You learn a little bit about Major John Kaler's case, and you learn a little bit about Sweet Misery. So head on over to Sweet Misery's. Check out the Sweet Misery's channel. Check out the interview or the collaboration that we did the other night on her channel related to the Major John Kaler case. All right, guys. You guys have a great day. God bless each and every one of you. Go rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be kind. Please be safe and kind to one another. Guys, it's the holidays. We need to have an attitude with gratitude. And please give back. There's a lot of people struggling. If you have an opportunity, and I'm not saying you've got to take one single dollar out of your pocketbook to give back. You can do something more meaningful than that. You can help somebody out. So be kind to people. Be kind to people when people aren't looking. Do the right thing when people aren't looking. It's called integrity. And guys, we say no here on the Bullhorn Betty channel to online bullying and online hate and harassment. So please, if you see something, say something. Let them know that they are wrong. Stand up and speak up. God bless each and every one of you. Until next time, rock it out with your coffee beans out.
Her family has been struggling so much to find answers, and they have been met with lies after lies after lies from a lot of people that proclaim to be this young lady's friends. So
This is Layla Santinello. She has been missing since June 27th, 2023, and she disappeared from Kingsport, Tennessee. Chronicles of Olivia and I went out to Kingsport, Tennessee on several different trips, searching for Layla Santinello or any information leading to her whereabouts. These are my thoughts on this case.
Well, I have to be honest with you. I was hoping by now we would have found Layla. So this has been very hard. You know, we want to bring her home. We want to make sure that her family knows what happened to her, I think is really the most important. Her family has been struggling so much to find answers, and they have been met with lies after lies after lies from a lot of people that proclaim to be this young lady's friends. Just like to speak to them just for a moment and just say, if you know something, say something, because her life does matter. For the family members of these people that know what happened to her, it could have been your daughter. It could have been your granddaughter. You need to ask them to stand up and speak up.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.